Hi, and welcome to our first tutorial for the Akai iMPC Pro 2. In this first tutorial, we're going to take a look at how to start a project and on how to record our own samples. We're going to create a beatbox. So from the main screen, I'm going to just choose a new project, and I can choose a template that has already some kits preloaded. So at this point, since we're going to create our own, doesn't matter too much, so I'm going to choose this template. And as you can see, there are different views here, different screens that I can choose from. And to start our own kit, the first thing that we're going to do is to go to the tweak page. As you can see here at the top, there are 4 different banks that I can program of 16 pads each. Since bank A has already some sounds on it, I'm going to switch to bank B. These are all empty. And if I want to record a new sound, for example, a sound that I'm going to use for my beatboxing kit, I'm going to tap on new sound, set up a threshold, and when I'm ready, I can just hit the record button and start recording my sound. As you can see, I can choose between different input sources, but I'm going to choose the internal microphone to record my sounds now. Here we go. As soon as I stop the recording, I'm going to be sent to the wave editor, and here I can trim my sample. It's very important so that I can make sure I use only the material that I need, and I can preview it by pressing this button here. If I'm happy with it, I can go back by pressing done. What I can do also is by tapping inside the tool locator, do a little bit of audio editing. I can fade in, I can fade out, normalize, amplify. So I'm going to normalize it because I want to make sure that I use the entire dynamic range available. Once I'm done, I'm going to click done. And now this pad has the new sound assigned. Now, if I want to record a second sound, I'm going to choose a different pad, tap new sound, and tap record. I'm going to trim it. I'm going to normalize it. And now I have 2 pads with 2 new sounds. Now I'm going to maybe do 2 more, a hi-hat, open and close. So now I have my kit. So at this point, I can keep going and keep recording more sounds. But as you can see, I'm in a good shape and I have a basic kit that I can play with. Once you have all your samples assigned to a pad, it is also important to name the samples and save them in a place where we know where they are and where we can retrieve them later. So in my tweak mode, I'm going to make sure that I have my pad selected, and if I tap on edit sound, I can rename the sample right here. So I'm going to rename this bass drum beatbox, and I can tap here to save it in a certain bank. I'm going to choose my user bank number 1. So now it is saved there, and I'm going to repeat the same for the other samples. After you have all your samples assigned to pads and you edit them and rename them, it is very important to save your program. A program is basically a drum kit. So in this case, we created on Bank B these 4 new pads, so we want to save it so that we can access it from other projects or even from the same project for different tracks. So what I'm going to do is to tap on Program, tap My Programs, and then hit Save Program. I can give it a name. I'm going to say Beatboxing Kit, and I'm going to hit Done. And now I have a new program called Beatboxing Kit. It is important to have a balanced kit where all the sounds are leveled. To do so, I'm going to tap on a pad, and then as you can see here, I have a level option that allows me to change the level of that pad. So I'm going to bring up my kick a little bit and maybe bring down my hi-hat a little bit. Also, I can add effects here, and by just swiping at the bottom here, I can add some pretty interesting effect. For example, I can have some overdrive. To make the kick with a more bite, and I can do the same with the snare. Also, I can retune my pads, so I can maybe make the kick a little bit lower. And maybe make the snare a little bit snappier. I also have a filter here. As you can see, I can really shape the sounds. I also have a ducking mode that basically hyper compress the sound. I can turn it on or off. And I can control the envelope in terms of amplitude or a filter with both attack and a decay release. In this case, the envelope of the amplitude is not going to do too much because the sounds are very short. So this is how you create your kit. Now let's learn in the next tutorial how to put together a sequence or what we usually call a pattern.